Hi, everybody. My name is Jenny, and I am doing another round of HCG. Yes, I am. Kinda, sorta. We'll talk about that today. I did for the first time ever do 3 days of loading. 3 days of loading resulted in more weight gain in a longer period of time. I don't recommend it. No, I don't recommend it. So, um, I probably would never do it again, but it was kind of it was born on a necessity, and you can watch a prior video as to why I did it. Nevertheless, after the first, usually I gain about 5 pounds on during loading, for about 4 pounds, usually between 4 to 5 pounds on loading, and then I usually lose about 4 pounds in my first 2 days, and then I'm on track on the third day. So this is how it worked this time. I loaded for 3 days and gained 5.1 pounds in those 3 days. And then on the first 3 days on P2, phase two, I lost 5.4. So I'm down zero point 0.3 right now, 3 days in, which, is pretty good. If I would have just loaded for two and then lost two on my first day of true weight loss, losing just zero point 0.3, I wouldn't have been thrilled with. But the fact that 3 days of loading, 3 days on P, I mean, I would think that it would have to be the same number before you start to hit level again. The fact that I'm down a little bit makes me feel good. And let me tell you why, because there's a lot more involved in this. I haven't been great on, excuse me, I have the hiccups. I'm going to be drinking every now and then. I apologize. Day one and two on the protocol, I had the most annoying headache that would not go away. I mean, would not go away. I was living on Tylenol and Advil and just doing everything I could, drinking, drinking, drinking. Okay, so I did some research on it because I figured clearly this is a carb withdrawal symptom that I'm dealing with. And I remember an HCG in the past also dealing with headaches at the beginning, but I never remember having headaches that I couldn't squelch with taking some sort of medicine to get rid of it. And nothing worked. I mean, it was exactly the same as if I didn't take anything. It was driving me nuts. Um, so the first day, because I was doing nothing but laying in bed, it was that kind of night, like you just didn't want to do anything. You just like wanted to close your eyes and put your head down. Even if I wasn't sleeping, I just wanted to close my eyes. It's getting nothing accomplished. So at the end of the first day, when I went all day and I knew I had to teach classes that evening, and then I was going to be teaching a whole bunch the next morning after only about 6 hours of sleep, I thought, I can't even function like this and be able to effectively do my job. So I ate 2 pieces of bread. I did. And you know what? Miraculously, it went away. Now, of course, I was still taking the Advil, but I had been taking it all day and it did nothing. So I don't know if just the carb itself worked inside the bread or if it was a combination of that with the medicine. I don't know. Medicine didn't seem to work until that point. But at any rate, I was able to then sleep through the night all day long. I kept trying to sleep and I couldn't because I kept waking up with this headache. And then I'd like roll over and I took way too much Advil, Tylenol. I don't know what pain reliever I have in a bottle next to my bed, but whatever it is, I took too much of it. Um, don't recommend that. So the next day, I wake up and I felt okay. And I'm like, oh, I'm still doing good. I'm like very happy. So I'm teaching my classes. By the time I finished my classes, um, the headache started coming back again. And I went and I laid down. So now I had gone that day and the day before without getting on the treadmill at all, because the idea of pounding on a treadmill and walking, like my head, I just wanted to rest on a soft pillow in a quiet, dark room. Um, Day two, I started off and I thought, well, let me eat some protein first thing in the morning, as opposed to going longer without eating. I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to split up my meals. Maybe my body can't handle this kind of one meal a day type of situation that it always has in the past. You get older, things change. I didn't do a bit of difference. So I had some like lettuce with protein, and nothing was better. And I just kept taking the aspirin all day long. It didn't get better. So I ended up really falling off the wagon on day two. I had a piece of bread. It kind of helped for a little bit, and then it was coming back later on. And I had classes all the way through until 11 o'clock at night that night. I had like 4 or 5 classes in a row. I ended up eating popcorn. I had the microwave popcorn, and I was just eating the popcorn. And after that, I felt much better. And then I started thinking, well, the popcorn, maybe it's better than the bread because it's not a grain, it's natural. I don't know. Of course, it wasn't completely unbuttered popcorn, so there was some fat with it too. Nevertheless, I learned my lesson in terms of loading. I had way too many sugars in my loading phase, way too many carbs too, but I'm not as concerned about the carbs that I ate as much as I think it was much more of just the raw sugar that I normally don't eat. And I was just treating myself as part of this. I'm going to go a month without having anything that I love diet. Yeah, so I suffered. I suffered. Um, how much did I lose? So on the first day of loading, I did lose 2.3 pounds. I had that little bit of protein and lettuce in the morning, and then 2 pieces of bread later in the day. I think a big part of that was just didn't have very many calories at all. The second day, I lost zero point 0.8, and that was when I had the bread and the popcorn. Um, and then I had like a chicken mixture, but I ate it with carrots because I had run out of lettuce, which I have more of now, but I didn't have it. So the carrots had some carbs inside there too. And I had a little granola. I had like a handful of granola later in the day when it was like kind of coming back again, and then it squelched it. So I thought, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this again. Like, and I no, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to suffer right through it. And I know that after about 3 days it goes away, but I couldn't. I couldn't function. And I had a job to do. So for me, the only way to get around it, because normally I would just say, well, I'll just pop a bunch of pills, kill off the headache until my body adjusts, and then I can stop taking them. And that's what I've always done in the past. And I just couldn't. It just didn't work this time around. So yesterday was going to be my day of just eating right all day, like like you're supposed to on P2. And I met my girlfriend in her backyard. We did a social distancing get together. Got out of my car, went right to her backyard, brought my own drink with me, and we were getting together. And she brought out to me um, on her back patio, already prepared, a plate with a blueberry muffin, a chocolate chip scone, and a little pile of strawberries with Cool Whip on it. Okay, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. None of those I was planning on having that day. And I just I couldn't tell her I don't want it. And I did want it, and of course it was amazing. Um, I wouldn't have eaten all of it normally on a regular day, but let me tell you, that scone, freshly baked too, was so warm. It was a chocolate chip and walnut in a scone that she made with coconut oil. So like like she was, and they were tiny, those little tiny chocolate chips, just kind of sporadic in there. So I mean, I really had probably equal to maybe three normal chocolate chips. It wasn't like over the moon, but still, there was flour in it. So you're not supposed to do that. But I have to say, the whole rest of the day, no headache. No headache. I woke up this morning, no headache. So here's the thing. If you are having too many sugars and carbs during your loading phase, and if you're someone like me that was eating a bunch of carbs leading up to this and your body was just acclimated and used to it, you're going to suffer at the beginning of this um, diet when you go completely no carb. I've heard the same thing when people go on ketogenic diets. They call it the keto flu. and that it really mimics a lot of flu-like symptoms. I don't experience anything like that. I don't experience anything else other than the headaches, which I could deal with if medicine would take care of it. But like to go about all day. I mean, I did go about all day with it. I mean, I tried to I watched like some Stranger Things with my husband and son to try to catch up. We have Netflix for 30 days for free to watch Tiger King, figure out what the big excitement was about. But while we're in it, we're catching up on Stranger Things because we've only seen one season of it, so we're watching season 2 and 3. I love Stranger Things. Um, and the writers, showrunners, directors of that series was a graduate from Chapman University, which is where my daughter went to college when she went to film school there as well. Anyway, well, shout out to Chapman University. Duffer Brothers were from there. In fact, they showed up. They gave the convocation at her graduation ceremony, which was awesome. And they were so funny and they did such a great job. If you ever have a chance, look that up on YouTube. It was a great commencement speech. Um, Very, very good. Okay. Um, so there we are. So today is really my first day, which so I feel like I'm coming here and just telling you nothing great. But I did get on the scale today, even though I had that not so great stuff in the morning. I'm trying to think, what did I have later in the day? I had some low carb sauce with a little bit of mozzarella cheese on leaves. So I guess I did have a little bit of fats, but it wasn't any carbs later in the day. But I got on the scale today and I was down 2.3 pounds. Um, so I feel good. And so all in all, over the past 3 days, I've lost, what did I say, 5.4 pounds. Um, or the scale says I'm down 5.4. So again, I went up 5.1, down 5.4. So now here we go. Today is really the day that I am not going to have any carbs. And I really feel like, I mean, I don't even have like a hint or a subtle indication of any kind of headache whatsoever. So I think that's what I needed to do for my body rather than continue to like switch over to codeine or something stronger for the headaches. I just needed to kind of feed my body a little bit of carbs to help get through the withdrawal phase. Not ideal for HCG. I would have lost more than I did in these past 3 days had I been able to stick with it, but I couldn't. I couldn't do it. It was just too debilitating for me. All right, so let this be a lesson to you that when you're getting ready to go on HCG, start to kind of live a low carb life. And then when you do your loading, certainly don't go crazy on the sugars at all. I mean, you really shouldn't on the carbs either. It should be a day of loading of mostly fats. That's the intent behind the loading, is that you're supposed to kind of build up fat reserves and stores so that at the beginning of this there's that it's going to burn off at the very beginning too, to kind of get you through this period of time if you do it the right way. Didn't do it the right way, but we're on track now. All right, I'll be in touch with you in a couple days with a more poignant topic. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, one thing I did read, if you have headaches at the beginning of this diet, that you should be drinking a lot of water. Let's see, I don't know if it said how much water. It just said a large glass of water with half a teaspoon of salt. Mm, mm-mm. I can't do that. That makes me gag. When I was a child, in fact, that's how my mother, when we were sick and we said we didn't feel well and our stomachs were upset, my mother made us drink warm water with warm salt water, essentially, with salt in it. She said it will either make you vomit or it'll settle your stomach. I don't know that that's true. It just made me feel worse, and I still didn't vomit. But I wanted to vomit. It made me want to vomit even if I didn't feel like I needed to vomit before. It was so gross. So I can't do that. I can't drink salt water. I just can't. I can't. I could eat a teaspoon of salt before I could drink, and then chase it maybe with water before I could actually drink water with salt mixed in it. Ugh. Swimming in the ocean and getting some water in your mouth, just not my thing. All right, so here we go. I don't know. I don't really have much of a plan. I do have a lot of lettuce, so I think I'm just going to have myself a big salad today. I'm going to try to hold off. I'm going to get back on the treadmill. I'm excited about that. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Happy P2 to everybody. Hang in there. Good luck. And I'll be in touch in the next few days. Bye.